Hello, everyone. I'm Mike,
I'm Matt.
and we're here to tell you that Mind Your Own Business with Mike and Matt is back. Only this time, we're doing it as a vodcast, as well as a podcast. So our plan is to interview business owners and entrepreneurs for each broadcast, ask them a few questions that we hope our listeners will be interested in and will be inspired and want to hear how they can be better business owners and entrepreneurs. It will be our goal to leave you all with one good business nugget each time. So today, we have the pleasure of Vik Rajan, who's co-founder of phoneblogger.net and Videosocials.net. And it is our pleasure to welcome you, Vik. Why don't you tell us something about who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Matt. I'm co-founder along with Mark Bullock of both PhoneBlogger and Videosocials, and both are marketing systems. Our clients and our members are lawyers, accountants, coaches, consultants, and they get their business through word of mouth referrals. And so they need to stay top of mind with anyone who can bring them business. And one of the ways is to send out content by email or LinkedIn posts or other social media posts. And our clients are generally very busy, successful professionals, so they don't have the time to sit down and write their own articles or figure out how to get the videos optimized and posted and all that. So with PhoneBlogger, we interview our clients over the phone and turn what they say into written, optimized articles. And since the whole world of the internet has prioritized video, as both of you know, we now host our video blogging clubs with Videosocials for our members to record their video blogs together, fun and done.
Well, thank you, Vik. It's really pretty amazing. So now, since this is the Mike and Matt show, you know we're going to be tag teaming you with our questions and we'll probably grill you. So Matt's going to ask you the first series of questions. So Matt?
Hey, hi, Vik. So why did you start the business?
We started out of, it's like necessity is the mother of invention, I suppose. We kind of had to. So it kind of really dates back to 2017 when Facebook started prioritizing video posts. Mark Zuckerberg, founder of Facebook, announced that. And so we knew the tide was turning. I mean, we probably knew the tide was turning back in 2006, even when Google bought YouTube and they made fun of them for spending over $1 billion for this YouTube thing. And so, probably started back then. But 2017 is when that started. And it didn't really affect our kind of clients. They typically are more the LinkedIn crowd. So we kind of saw it and said, all right, maybe we'll see one day. And then next year, 2018, LinkedIn followed suit, as they often follow Facebook's changes. So they started prioritizing video posts, and we see it evident now where, if you think about as you're scrolling LinkedIn, every other post is a video post, but how many people do you know really are posting videos? Maybe a handful. And that dichotomy is really the algorithm at work. And so we started having to talk to our clients about them getting on video. And our first inclination, our first suggestion was referring them to videographers, some of whom we all know. And our clients didn't take us up on the offer. Weeks would go by, months would go by, and they'd hem and haw. And it turned out they didn't really have the time to spend time to go to a studio and do a whole bit for multiple videos. And it was out of their budget. Some of them were nervous to be on video. And so we're like, all right, we got to figure out a way. Don't know what that noise is from.
That's the street. I'll close the window.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if the cops were finally getting you, Mike, or something.
They're coming after you.
They're coming after you. All right. It's the beauty of going live.
So Vik, did you see a need or you saw an opportunity?
I think both. I think more we saw the need because we didn't really see the opportunity right at first. It wasn't like we were like, oh, we can create these video blogging clubs. It was like, oh man, we got to get our clients onto video because that's the right thing for them. And they were losing traction and losing their response. And we're like, look, we got to do right by our clients because they're losing from the metric standpoint. They were losing potential referrals and leads. And so we had to figure out a way to get it convenient and comfortable and hopefully fun. And so we soon saw an opportunity if we can architect it the right way. And I think we kind of cracked the code. So we'll see.
So you really saw a customer need out there that wasn't being fulfilled. And was there a particular place or were you in doing something particular where the idea came to you?
Yeah, we want to know if you were in the shower when this idea came to you.
So yeah, well, I'll tell you, which we haven't even talked about. I hate my lighting right now, but hopefully you can see me. So I remember chatting on the phone with Mark Bullock, and it was around this time of year when we usually talk about the following year from our own strategic planning and things like that. And my original idea was like, it was always around this conference call idea. Can we get our phone blogger clients onto a conference call and take turns blogging that way? And I'm like, and I was hosting my podcast at the time. And I was thinking, could it be like this audio thing? And then it was Mark who actually said, well, can we do it actually by video? And I'm like, yeah, of course we can. Suppose we did like a Zoom meeting. And back then, no one knew really what, wasn't like, sick and tired of Zoom like we are now. And I said, well, Mark was a president of the largest Toastmasters chapter. This was 20, 30 years ago out in Hawaii in Maui. And I'm a fan of Toastmasters. And I'm like, well, what if we had like a Toastmasters on Zoom, which of course they ironically have now. But I do a lot of networking, as you both know. So I'm like, well, if we could do a mishmash of a Toastmasters, a networking group, a mastermind focused group, I could bring on programmer app developers to do the part 2 of video socials, like you guys know, and how to post the videos to automate that part. But we could do something that's kind of unique. So we started brainstorming that on that phone call and kind of mapped out what I originally wanted as a half-hour call. Is now 45 minutes and sometimes 55 minutes. But we mapped it out around, I would say, October of 2018, October, November. And we started it really February of 2019. I forced it to happen the last week of January because I really wanted it to debut in January.
That was precious timing, huh?
Yeah, so we were very positioned well, as everyone had to run to video, even if they didn't want to. But from that aspect, yeah.
So how do you invest in the business? How did you figure out what, how much to invest and when and
Yeah. You mean invest in terms of time or money? Or
both? Both.
Yeah, I mean, it was a matter of figuring out what we could do with our clients and for our clients. I mean, to this day, we're always thinking of how can we add more value and benefit to our clients and to our members, because they're raving fans and they help us with our growth. So it was very much, all right, who's going to be interested in this and how can we start a club, and let's just start it. So it took a little bit of investment of time, more than even money, to kind of figure out how could it work and architect it. And of course, it's improved over time. So it took about 4 or 5 months. And yeah, in terms of money, the dollars, as if anyone's ever been involved in software development, that's an adventure. So that takes a lot of time and money to get that correct. And we have second version of the software that we call Brander that is now delayed, but will soon come out. And so from that aspect, yeah, it's been an adventure of investment, but I think it'll pay off because it helps our members grow.
Sure. And is there an end goal that you and Mark have for the business?
We wonder one day if there's an exit strategy, when larger companies end up buying video socials. We don't know yet. I don't know if we're that attractive, honestly, yet. But we wonder that might be an exit, because there are organizations like Toastmasters or large networking organizations like BNI or some of their competitors that may be interested in something like video social. So there are opportunity. Then there are other organizations that are interested in our kind of business members that may be interested. Could be banks, title agencies, et cetera, or other CRM software, things like that, and maybe from an exit strategy. I think we're a little too young to really think about that. From a growth standpoint, like BNI, like Toastmasters, like EO, like Landmark, like a lot of wonderful business organizations that I really respect and admire, I see video socials being the next big international global business community, obviously different from all of them, adding value in a different way. But yeah, I can see people video blogging in different languages very easily.
So I don't know if we're having a little bit of difficulty with our audio, but we'll manage through. So what are you doing differently now that we're in the middle of this pandemic? We've been doing this now for 6 months, and what are your biggest issues, and what's your plan to resolve them during this pandemic time?
Thankfully, we have wonderful staff who works from their home offices across the country. We have wonderful clients and members who they've had to figure out how to work differently in a much more mobile environment. Because we're so virtual of a company, and obviously we're very video focused nowadays. This is, quite frankly, to be, without sounding insensitive, has been actually a moment of opportunity for us. Kind of like how Matt alluded. We're well positioned to help those who really need to figure it out in terms of not only their own networking and word of mouth marketing, but also how to utilize these social networking platforms effectively, as all the algorithms have become video focused. So it hasn't been a negative, but in fact, it actually has been a positive and kind of a good problem in terms of how to seize all the opportunities. And I don't know if we've actually done a great job with that because we're kind of a small company. But there are a tremendous amount of opportunities of partnering with different organizations and conferences. Just as an example, this past 2 days, we provided an attendee benefit to a summit, the Lawyer Mom Owner Summit. And so their attendees were exactly that. And so we were able to provide video headshots for all of their attendees or whomever were interested, for them to come on to a Video Socials roundtable and create a video headshot, essentially like being a guest on a Video Socials club is what it amounted to. But it was something really cool as a benefit. And I think in retrospect of how many conferences and summits there have been over these past 6 months. And so it makes me sad when I think like, wow, I should have been offering that as a member benefit to every summit at every conference. And we have in the past, and I'm looking forward to now seizing that as an opportunity more.
Well, there's still more time.
Yeah. I don't think virtual summits and conferences are going away, unfortunately, anytime soon.
So actually, I was going to ask you another question, but actually, Matt, you ask him the question, our fifth question, and then I'll come back to the question that I want to ask.
So Vik, how do you make decisions for your business, and what keeps you from making them?
The answer to both of those questions is my business partner, Mark. I don't know how you guys operate, but Mark is very used to getting either very terse, short, brain farts, if you will, of emails that make no sense. And then the opposite, very long-winded, overly detailed, like way more than you need to know, rambling of emails. And I've learned not to make decisions by myself and run it by him. So he keeps me from making those decisions, but also it helps me make things better. I do some things on my own because I want to do it. And likewise, we're both partners. So I'm not sure how you know how to.
How do you know when you've made a mistake?
I have wonderful people, from my wife to my business partner to my staff, who can tell me that I made a mistake. And I also see that it didn't work. It didn't take traction. There are plenty of things I've tried. I would say more than the things that have worked. It's really, do people take to it? And if people aren't taking to it, then it's obviously not a success. And I've got plenty of ideas. I'm not too worried about that.
Well, I know you. I do know you, and I've certainly listened to any number of your ideas. Some of them are obviously better than others, but it's funny because I often say that how do you know you made a mistake? It cost you money.
Yes.
How do you know you made a big mistake? It cost you a lot of
money. Yes.
So, the question I have is, when people say that you should be working on your business, not necessarily in it, what does that mean to you?
Sometimes people confuse it and they think of it as sales. And my day job is essentially sales. I bring in new clients, bring in new business. But really, my evening job and my weekend job is that of CEO. And so I think of it very much of kind of the research and development and visioning of the company. So to some degree, it's strategic alliances. But sometimes those strategic alliances are really channel partners. And so it comes back down to sales. So I tend to be very sales driven in that sense, and always looking to partner with other organizations. But in terms of developing the vision, developing the new lines of business or new member benefits in a simple way, is how I think of it, as working on the business, kind of making this stronger, making my idea better. And so it goes into implementations sometimes pretty quickly, but it's mapping that out. And we spend a lot of time, Mark and I spend a lot of time thinking about the future, and thinking of where this can go and how it can really benefit our members.
Do you get bogged down in the day-to-day?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I don't, you know, yeah, I don't know. Bogged down is the fair question. If anything, I need to stay focused. I love days like today where every half hour is a new phone call, you know, bringing on new members. And I like days where I'm going from one meeting to another because, you know, we're in growth mode. We're in scaling mode to some degree. So I don't feel it being bogged down. But yeah, does it take away from me being CEO and being that exclusively CEO role? Yes. But and I know I need, as much as I delegate now, I need to delegate more. And so those are lessons that I think I could do better with. But then again, from a revenue standpoint, you know, I need to make sure that we're bringing in new clients and new members, and I do it pretty well. So I need to just keep doing it and keep doing it better.
So these are great. These are fascinating, and I hope our audience is hearing and listening intently because you've said a lot of interesting things. So I'm going to ask you this question: what are the most important lessons, and it could be only one or two? What are the most important lessons you've learned being in business? And I'm going to ask you why.
Recurring revenue, credit card subscriptions, by far. I was never good at billing. I was never good at paperwork. Still not, but I've been able to escape that challenge by essentially having some type of a subscription recurring revenue type model so that I can kind of step ladder it from month to month, hopefully in the, you know, up to the right direction. And it alleviates, well, credit card, it's well worth the whatever percentage points I pay to alleviate that paperwork. But from a business model standpoint, you know, I'm able to, again, staircase that revenue and that income. And I think it also helps our members and clients where we're not nickel and diming them. I don't think anyone really likes that. I mean, no one wants to overpay, but I don't want to be nickel and dime and constantly having to think, I'm going to get charged for this and charged for that. And it's so freaking annoying. So I think we can provide a lot of value for just a simple flat fee, so to speak. So part of that's flat fee, but it's really the recurring aspect of it that for me, by far, I can't imagine running any kind of business that isn't a recurring revenue or has some kind of base of recurring revenue and then maybe some other a la carte type stuff.
So, you know, I had mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast that we wanted to give our listening audience the golden nugget.
Yeah.
So having heard what you've said over the last 17 minutes or so, the question I have is, what is that golden nugget that you, Vik Rajan, can present to our audience? That one golden nugget.
Yeah, focus on, yeah. So, I mean, do you want to know from a business model standpoint, like what other people should do? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I have that kind of golden nugget
well, depending on you, answer it any way you like. No, there's no parameters. We're not tightening you in a box.
So one of the things Mark and I think about all the time is what if every one of our members can bring us one more member, and translate it to what if every one of our clients can bring us one more client, and what can we do to help our clients become raving fans, and what can we do to help every one of our clients love us so much and get so much benefit and value that they want to rave about us. And if there's that nugget of knowledge and outside of recurring revenue and all that stuff, it's kind of love on your clients and your customers and your members so that every one of them can bring you one more. And that itself will build a sustainable marketing model. Now, those raving fans may need stuff to use to share you with others. And that's where video content, blog posts, email newsletters help, because it helps them click forward and click share really easily. But they wouldn't do that in the first place if they didn't really want to rave about you. So for us, and I think maybe to say I can give advice to others, I don't think I can, but what we practice is that we want every one of our members to love us so much that they're getting so much value that they bring us one more member.
So there you have it, everybody. That golden nugget. That golden nugget is, what if everyone could bring you more business? And basically, raving fans. And one more thing is always find a way to ask them for referrals, because that really is that referral, that raving fan will generate. It's, it's the LinkedIn concept, or it's, one person knows another 5 people, another 5 people, etc. So raving fans, that's the golden nugget for today. So Vik, Matt and I want to thank you for being our very first guest. And we really appreciate this. I think it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for letting us grill you with questions. We probably could go on for another 20 more minutes, but or even longer than that, because I've been fascinated listening to you. But I guess this is the end of the broadcast. So thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I go on with the rest of the little spiel promoting ourselves?
I want to say congratulations and thank you for having me on. I was a fan of your podcast, and now I'm going to be a fan of your vodcast.
So that's great.
So Michael, I got a nugget from Vik, and it was really thinking about what does his clients need, and that's how he saw the opportunity and the need to do video socials.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Matt.
That's a great lesson to learn.
It is a great lesson to learn. So listen, everyone, and we're coming to the end of our broadcast. You can see our vodcast on videosocials.net. You can see us on LinkedIn Live. You can see us. You can subscribe to Mind Your Own Business with Mike and Matt on our. This will be on our vodcast as well as podcast. So you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Overcast, or any one of your favorite podcast apps. And of course, we'd love for you to share our podcast with your friends and colleagues, and interact with us on our Facebook, Mind Your Own Business with Mike and Matt Facebook page. And so I'm Matt. Oh, no, I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And together we are the Voices of Reasons. Thanks for listening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.